Okay, good morning. Monday morning. Sunday night. Welcome to Sunday Night Live in the famous planet Earth. Aloha to everyone. Aloha to everyone. Namaste and sawadee-kap. The Restream wouldn't let me in for some reason, and then I had to get my password and all that. So, but here I am. Yeah. So let's get started. Okay, very cool. All right. So, just a couple of words about stuff, and that stuff is, Kathy's here on planet Earth as well, but she's in a special place on planet Earth. It's called Phuket. Shh, don't tell me. Where are we? God. Okay, there we go. Okay, sorry. I just had to find out what we're going to be talking about here. What I need to tell you guys. Where the heck did that go? Okay. There we go. Okay, yeah. All right. Welcome to Sunday Night Live, Monday Morning Live. Just a reminder to everybody who's currently has an active situation going on with CFCs, and you're anywhere near the U.S., our clinic and Oasis of Healing is still open after 20 years. So please give us a call there, and oasisofhealing.com. Or you can go to stopmakingcancer.com. And I have to use that word because if I said stopmakingcfcs.com, no one would know. So anyway, my apologies for using that horrible, ridiculous, absurd word. Anyway, so I just want to remind you all about the, all the social media platforms we're on, right, at the Dr. Thomas Lodi, right, on all of them, right, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, et cetera, except for Twitter, and which is X, and TikTok. They are Dr. Thomas Lodi, MD. Okay, so we got that. Tomorrow is the vitamin C webinar, and I'm gonna just tell you everything that you need to know about vitamin C, so that when you go and try to get some, first of all, you can take care of yourself, which is really essential. Secondly, when you go to any kind of practitioner to get some help, Hey, Zach. When you go and they're going to give you vitamin C IV, you'll be able to tell them how to do it, because most of them, the vast majority of them, don't know. Okay, so that's very important. So check out this lecture tomorrow. One thing I hear from people is often is, okay, we get it, we understand. How do we do it? Right? If you want to eat uncooked plant food, how do you do that and make it taste good? My God. Well, anyway, tomorrow, next Sunday, we'll have on this live stream, I'll have as a guest Donna Peron. You can look her up. She's in Manhattan, in the Village, and it's Donna Peroni, P-E-R-R-O-N-N-E, or P-E-R-O-N-N-E. Anyway, she was mom. I knew her way back when I was in New York, back in the early 2000s. We met because she was at one of my lectures, yeah, and that's how we met. And then turned out that she had already been eating this way for years and leading groups, and teaching people how to do it and all that. And she's never stopped. She became, because of her knowledge and skills and all that and experience, she became our my first health educator when I first started all this integrative oncology way back when. And then when I left New York and moved to Arizona, she went on to become a colon therapist, using the gravity method, not mechanical. And that's the name of her place in Lower Manhattan. It's called Gravity. But it's not just colonics. She takes care of both ends of that tube. Remember that tube. If you take care of that tube, you live long and prosper. And if you don't take care of the tube, you don't. It's the tube. It's the tube. It all comes down to the tube. But at the top of the tube is this thing called the mind. So that's, yeah, you got to. So the mind and the tube. So mind the tube. Yeah. And mind the mind. So anyway, she's going to be there because she'll be joining our groups. She'll be part of the as you know, we have 3 groups. We have the health and healing group, we have the parasite group, and we have the CFC group. And CFC group, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to say it only once, is cancer. Hurts. Sorry I said that, you guys. But anyway, CFC groups. I got to somehow get this out there. I have to get that. I have to put it on, so I don't have to say it. I want to put it in writing or whatever. Anyway, so she's going to be part. Whoa, that's an amazing thing, Emma. Wait, whoa. Anyway, so she'll be part of the health and healing group, because if you're a parasite in the parasite group, you automatically have membership in the health and healing, and if you're in the CFC group, you automatically have membership in the parasite and the health and healing. So Donna's going to be there. She'll be doing weekly teachings on how to make it delicious and what you need and all that sort of thing. And then, of course, she's going to be available for anybody who wants to really get into it and understand. And you can contact her privately, through our group, and that way she'll give you a nice deal on that. But anyway, she'll be here next Sunday, and you can meet her. I'll have her here, and then right after that, she'll begin her weekly sessions with you all. Now here, I got to read this. This is from Emma. Dr. L, I have made a helpful, along with suggesting the person contacting you and your group that deals with this issue, and 3 times I tried to post it in even a softer manner, but my comments were declined by either Facebook or moderator. Don't really know, but narrowed the problem down to me mentioning your name. Should I just not do that because more censor towards you? I'm not. Whoa, not sure what you're talking about, what you were trying to post, or I don't know. But I hope that Hammy and or Pear are here, and please contact Emma and let's talk about that. They'll let them contact you and discuss this. All right, Hammy or Pear. I hope you're listening. Okay, because this is weird. I don't know I'm not sure what you tried to post, but that's a bummer. Not to mention my name. My name is contraband now. Isn't that weird? Oh my gosh. How bizarre is that? Anyway, that's too weird. So that's it. So Donna's amazing, and you'll know that after next week. Now, let me try and make things smaller here so I can get everybody here. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then where's the other one? There we go. Yay. Yay. Okay. Sorry. Okay, got it. Okay, cool. All right, here we are. Yeah. All right. So now, first question is from Marina. I think, Marina, didn't we answer this last week? My husband was had a spell put on him called a diagnosis with testicular CFCs back in 2020. He underwent surgery, radiation treatment. The most recent CT scan showed a 3-centimeter mass central chest. He refused the biopsy and had been working with a naturopath. He is feeling great physically and doesn't have any symptoms, but feeling drained emotionally. He's about to have a PET scan, and we are both feeling very anxious. How would you recommend overcoming negative emotions and feeling happy when going through a health crisis? Well, okay. What you're going through right now is the halls of the standard of scare. Okay, the sorcery is profound. They got you. They nailed you. That word, the diagnosis, and that's it, right? It's okay. So we all know that. I hope you all saw that standard of scare webinar. It's available. It's free. It's on our website, drlodi.com. It's also on the Bill Jansky, which is the that's where I gave the lectures through, was virtually through for the Bill Jansky conference recently in May. This May. I'm not dismayed, but I mean this May. Okay, so anyway, watch that, because you have to understand the profundity of using these words. The effect is, there's no greater negative effect on you than using these words and language. I mean, other than, getting hit by a car, lightning, or anything dramatic like that. But other than that, there's nothing more profound in destroying your health than words and the mind. Okay, because the ramifications are ongoing, and okay, so don't use these words. Okay, so now, so the reason you're afraid is there's now I want you to realize something. What's happened to this? Here we are. We've been conditioned such that I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling great, and I found a number. They found a number that does that, and they're going to now pursue and try to find out the meaning of this number that doesn't fit into their database that they've acquired by evaluating millions of sick people. And you're not normal. You're not in the average of the sick people. Not usually, right? Okay. So when we look at normal numbers on blood tests, urine tests, or whatever, realize that these numbers are based on populations of people that are sick, or very insider, like about to have a heart attack, about to have a stroke, about to whatever. Okay. Now, on the CT scan, when you're doing imaging is looking at anatomy, so it's pretty much there or not there. So now they want to do a PET scan. The PET scan is where they inject radioactive glucose, fluorodeoxyglucose, into the person, and then you wait a while until it has a chance to go to all the cells, and then you do a scan, and you see wherever the uptake of that glucose is at above a certain point, usually above 7, then you know that you probably have some CFCs going on there. Okay, now, here's the thing. All of these scans have a toxicity associated with them. So we need to do them at certain times so we can, you know, there are certain reasons to do it. For example, you know, usually if you're going to work with someone to help you resolve it, you want to get a baseline before, and then you want to get one after you feel like you've done, you know, you've completed the program. You can see, you know, you can see in terms of anatomy, and then with the PET scan, with the physiology, you know, is it still happening? You know, is this mass that was 10 centimeters, now it's 2 centimeters, is it still a problem? And then you do a PET scan, and you see that there's normal activity, it's not elevated, so you say, oh, so it's no longer malignant stuff going on, or you still have an elevated SUV. And if you still have standard uptake value, that's all it means, standard uptake value of that FDG, fluorodeoxyglucose, the radioactive glucose that they injected. So if you still have an active, then you say, aha, so there's still something going on there. That's the value of those things there. Now, when you mentioned that he had surgery and radiation, so we know that surgery will cause things to spread. We know that radiation will cause things to spread. And we know that radiation will increase stem cells, will increase CFC stem cells. Radiation makes the tumor microenvironment more hostile and destroying of our immune system, and on and on and on. I mean, it's crazy. If you know, radiation therapy standard and chemotherapy standard are two things that if you wanted to make it worse, this is what you would do. I'm serious. I mean, I'm not just like being hyperbolic, but you know, I've gone over this many times, and you can easily look it up. Go to PubMed and put radiotherapy and metastasis. Radiotherapy as a cause of metastasis, and you'll see all the studies. Or chemotherapy as a cause of metastasis. The paradoxical, there's one study, it's easy to find, the paradoxical effects of chemotherapy on breasts. But you know, remember, when they do a study, they don't study all the CFC locations. They do one, breast or ovary or testes or whatever they're going to do. They do that. That's the study, so that they can get the FDA approval for that particular drug, and then insurance will pay, and then okay, so that's it. But it is going to always apply to every CFC. Why is that? Because to be called a CFC, or they could call that nasty word that the sorcerers love to say, it's not Scorpio, it's not Gemini, it's not Sagittarius, it's, yeah, you got it. Okay, so not Leo either, and or Taurus. So in order for them to say that, what do they have to know? They have to see that there is something called the Warburg effect, or aerobic glycolysis. That's it. If they see that, then that's it. That's what it is. That's what's happening. And if it started in the breast, then it's called breast. Blah, blah, blah. If it started in the ovary, if it started in the brain, if it started in the elbow, it doesn't matter where. That's it. So the only difference between all of these, they say types, they're not types, is location. All right. Remember that. I repeat this every week. And what is the difference about the location? Well, the anatomy. Anything that's happening in the pancreas, which is right next to the spleen, the small intestines, the gallbladder, the liver, stomach. I mean, it's right there in the middle. So if it grows a little bit anywhere, it's already involving another organ, and you're causing damage. Whereas, you know, if it's in the breast, if it's in the leg, it can grow bigger and not involve other organs. That's, you know, so that's that. The other thing is, what is the nature of that particular organ, right? If it's a liver, it does different things than a heart does, then different things than a lungs do. So that's the differences, but not the actual fundamental biology of CFCs. That's a very, very important to understand. Don't let them tell you that your type is very rare. There's no type. There's one type. It's called CFCs. That's what it's called. There's not like, well, this one's not for chronically fermenting. Well, then it's not a CFC. Please understand that. The difference is location. And also, in addition to the fact that the location in which it is, in which it begins, that particular organ or gland has a different function than the other organs and glands in the body. And it also has different drainage patterns, different veins that drain it, and different lymphatics that drain it. So again, there will be the other qualities of ovary, which is different than spleen or lung. Okay. So please understand all that. So here you are with here's your husband with this 3 centimeter mass, and the PET scan is going to tell you if it's active or not. Here's the thing that I want you to understand, Maureen. It's very important, and your husband. What if the PET scan says there's no activity? Oh, then you just have a 3 centimeter, basically, scar. So what are you going to do? Go out and party and get drunk and start eating cheeseburgers? No. You're probably going to do everything you can to stay that way, which is living healthy. Now, what if it is active? What are you going to do? Do everything you can to restore health. You're not going to do anything different. You're going to get healthier and healthier and healthier, because there's only one road to health, and that's by living healthy, right? Okay, so therefore, however, so you're doing everything. You're doing the vitamin C, the vitamin D, the vitamin A that we talk about all the time. You're doing the melatonin. You balance your thyroid and your iodine. You've got your adrenals balanced. You're doing all of that, right? If you're doing all of that, and you're eating human food, yeah, eating human food. If you're doing all that, then you wouldn't. There's nothing else to do except perhaps maybe what you should do anyway is go on a cleanse every couple months. Can't, 7-day minimum, 10-day, whatever, fat cleanse, juice cleanse, or you can make it a water fast. It'd be fantastic. You're going to be doing those things anyway. But the biggest, and it's exactly what you asked this question for, and that is your emotions. How do you deal with your negative emotions? You stop using their words, and you learn to how you still 5 times a day for 2 minutes. Are you closing your eyes? 2 minutes, closing your eyes, getting silent, put an eye mask on, whatever you have to do, put earplugs in, and just listen to your breathing. And if your mind goes away, as soon as you realize it, come back. And then it'll go away again, come back. Just find that place in you that has no relationship to all this stuff. It's that place, it's the you that looks out of your eyes, that was looking out of your eyes the moment they opened, and hasn't changed. Even though when you look in the mirror, you've seen this earth suit, you've seen the earth suit change. But the you looking out of it hasn't changed. That place, that's where you got to go, because that's where God lives. And that's eternal. It's eternal. Now you have to understand that now. And the only way you can get the now is to leave your mind outside. So the admission to the land of now, which is where you want to get to, is your mind. So you leave, because you can't think about now. You can only experience now. Anyway, now is not a moment in time. It's not a moment that is sandwiched between an incredible, an ever non-ending past and a non-ending future. There's a now. Now is the reality. It's all there really is. And that anything about the future is an imagination. And the same with the past. It's an imagination, because it isn't. It isn't. And you've never been there. You've always been here. All right. So it's not that the now is everlasting. It's ever present. It's ever present. It's eternity. Anyway, that's where you want to get to. 2 minutes, 5 times a day. 2 minutes, 5 times a day. You won't make it for a while. It might take you 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it's going to take you to enter into that place. And when you get there, your immune system goes through the roof. And I'm telling you, that's the way you take your foot off of the brakes of the immune system, because that's the miracle that we were given by our very birth. The fact that we're alive and is that we have this miracle. This miracle is that we heal. We heal. You cut us, we heal. So we do. We heal. I mean, so do frogs. biological entities have that gift that's called healing. And it's the nature of nature. It's the nature of biology is to heal. It's not, you can't make it happen. It's a nature. It's innate to the organism. All right. So you got, what do you have to do to heal? What do you have to do? I don't care what's going on in your body. What do you have to do? You have to get rid of all the things that are toxic, that are damaging, and then make sure and then start providing all the things that are necessary for function, energy, and part replacement, because things wear out. That's called nutrition. And nutrition is not just food, it's water, it's air, and you eliminate all the things that are blocking it, right? Such as wearing shoes all the time, walking around on pavement all the time, sitting in cars all the time, and being in front of computers. All of that stuff is blocking it, right? So you got to get your shoes off, you got to put your feet on the ground. And the other big one is going to sleep early, which we'll talk about, but I don't want to get. So anyway, so that's the thing. You realize that whatever information you're going to get, you're still going to do the same thing anyway, so it doesn't matter. And you're on the journey to health, and you've already eliminating that, and get rid of that horrible sorcery that occurred to your husband and you, because you got it too, in 2020. Okay. And how? You never use that word. What other words do you use? Treatment, progression, prognosis, remission, NED. Okay, if you think your name is Ned, fine, but there's no such thing as NED. Okay, no NED. No evidence of disease. First of all, there are no diseases, but okay, there's no evidence of it, meaning we can't find anything there. But it's going to get you. Don't get too comfortable with this NAD stuff, because it's on its way back. You know that, right? That you're gonna forget all this stuff, and don't go back to them or anything. And every time you go for a test, that means you're manifesting your doubt. You're manifesting your fear. I'm gonna go get my test because I'm afraid. It's working. Okay. You got to remember how deep this goes. This is extremely, extremely deep. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next question. This is Burley. And, wait. All right. The most recent. Okay. So you got that, Marina. I hope you got. Okay. So Burley says, my sister continues to get high liver numbers on her blood tests. They have done a liver biopsy and found nothing. They do not understand why her numbers are so high, because they cannot find anything that would be causing it. So her doctor told her to try the carnivore diet to see if that would bring her numbers down. That's a fantastic idea. Your liver is not doing well. Go eat a corpse. Go find a dead body and eat it. That'll help you. Okay. Anyway, I'm not going to go there yet. Let's see. See if her numbers came down. So far, after almost 2 years, it hasn't brought her numbers down. Well, my gosh, how shocking. At all. Haven't brought her numbers down at all. Is there something you would recommend that she can try to bring her numbers down? Do you have any ideas of what's going on? Not knowing is extremely difficult for us, as we lost my mom to ovarian CFCs not too long ago. Okay. Okay, so. All right. Okay, first of all, Burley. What I see, if you were in our groups, I could ask you questions and I could get a little more understanding. That's why you really try to join the group, so that when we're having our meetings, I can say, well, blah, 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 blah. Because what I'd ask you right now is, how does your sister feel? I mean, her livers are up, liver enzymes. How high are they? I mean, normal for both the ALT and AST is around 35, 40, or around that area. So 75, 100. you start getting above 100, what's going on, But what does it mean? What does it mean that your liver numbers are up? What does that mean? That means your enzymes, when they check your blood, are higher than normal. Why? What is normal? Well, normally, as you know, cells are always in a state of transforming and turnover, right? We have new skin cells every 6 weeks. We have a new the lining to our GI tract every 3 days. We have new retina, our retina in the back of our eye, rods and cones every 48 hours. We have a new liver every 6 months. Yeah, so the body's in a continual state of renewal. Okay, so but that being the case, when cells are breaking down, a little bit of the enzymes will come out into the blood, and so the normal amount that goes in the blood of the ALT and AST are below 35 and 40, normal, meaning there's no real problem with the liver going on. When you get above that, you know that there's an increased amount of cellular turnover and breakdown of cells. Okay, and that comes from inflammation. Inflammation will cause that. Okay, so that's where the word itis, the suffix itis, right? Pharyngitis, dermatitis, colitis, gastritis, and any of the itises will do that. Okay, so that just means inflammation. So now of the liver. So you have hepatitis. Hepa is liver. Hepatitis. So hepatitis can be caused by what? It can be caused by fatty liver. It can be caused by fatty liver is from not eating healthy. All right, you get a fatty liver. But also there are many reasons. You can be due to viruses. There's what they call hepatitis A, B, and C viruses, and it can be due to medications like Tylenol, any of the statins. It can be caused by Wilson's disease. That's the name. Wilson got his name, and he's immortal because he's been named with a disease. Anyway, it's copper storage. What happens is the body's ability to store copper is not to eliminate it to eliminate copper is hampered, and so they wind up accumulating copper in their liver and they get really sick. And the same with the other one called hemochromatosis, where the ability to eliminate the iron, and so you get iron all over the liver or something like that. So that can cause it. All right, but of course celiac and cirrhosis and all these things that have to do with the bowel can wind up affecting the liver. You can do that, right? So anyway, so the many causes. So what you do is and they did a biopsy and they didn't find anything. They should have found inflammation. They should have said, well, there's inflammation. If there was no inflammation and the liver enzymes are up, that's something wrong. It doesn't make sense. It can't be. All right. So they had to find the inflammation. So when they do the blood test, I'm sure they did a hepatitis A, B, and C screening. I'm sure they looked for iron. Ceruloplasmin was what they usually look for Wilson's. They look for something called ceruloplasmin. You do a serum iron and a serum ferritin to look at hemochromatosis. There's a lot of things you'd look at, and I'm sure they did. I'm assuming they did that. They did the biopsy. That's crazy. So an unknown reason for elevated enzymes, how high are they? So I really don't know. I would have to have more details on this, Bernie. However, I hope they did that. So if you're working with, who are you working with? A naturopath. It must be a naturopath, because only naturopaths would put somebody on a carnivore diet. I don't think the sorcerers would do that. Anyway, so but did you and Burley? I don't know if you had a chance to see that post a few days ago that I did, where I was responding to a doctor who said that I haven't eaten meat He goes, how long has it been since you've eaten meat? I mean, 5, 6 years. Yeah, I wouldn't eat meat. I wouldn't recommend it. So, I said, okay. Then he calls himself a carnivore. So anyway, there I did a look for it. It's in the on it's Instagram, Facebook, all of the Rumble, X. I posted it. It's a fun little thing. I had fun with it. Just a few minutes, not a long 3 minutes, 4, 5 minutes. But anyway, just as a kind of a reminder, of what I was talking about with him, is that to be on a strictly animal diet, carnivore diet. Okay, that means you're eating just animals. Okay, so all right, so in order to get the most nutrients out of it, you're going to have to eat nose to tail, everything. Well, that's what carnivores do. And if we're going to call ourselves carnivores, and we're better to act like carnivore, can't call yourself carnivore and not act like a carnivore and not do what a carnivore does, right? Isn't that fraudulent? Okay, don't want to be frauds, want to be real carnivores. Okay, so now, and by the way, but even if you eat head to tail, nose to tail, right? Because that gets the whole thing. Nose to tail, you're still going to lack lots of nutrients that you just can't get. Because why? Because the body doesn't have them. We don't, the blood. Okay, but so you've got to eat the heart, the brain, the thyroid glands. You've got to eat the thymus. You've got the pancreas, ovaries, testes, depending on the sex of the animal you're eating. Intestines. You got to get the intestines, because in the intestines, I know you're not eating plants, you're just eating animals, but in the intestines is undigested plant material, which is good for you. Shh. Don't anybody know. Don't let anybody know that lions eat the undigested food in the animal. Oh my God. They're not pure, are they? Not like us. All right. So you got to eat all that, and then you got to eat the tendons, and you got to eat the muscles. You got to chew the bones. You need the calcium. You need the proline. You need all the different amino acids. You got to eat it all. Tendons, ligaments, and the skin. Eyeballs. Eat those eyeballs. Those eyeballs are fantastic. Now the only problem is you probably shouldn't cook it, because you really want to get the most. The liver. Eat the liver. For sure, you don't cook the liver. The brain, you can maybe simmer the brain a little bit. Yeah, but it's just not the same. It's just not the same. You got to eat. It's better to eat it uncooked. All right. So anyway. So, but what are you going to be missing if you do all that? Well, you're not going to have fiber. Fiber. And you're not going to have these phytochemicals that you need. And all the plant-derived cofactors. You just can't get them. All right. So, I don't know what to say. I wish it was something different. I wish I could pretend that it was okay. And you got to drink the blood. I'm telling you, you got to still drink the blood. You do all this, you're still not going to be getting adequate amounts of vitamin C, because it's just not enough. And then you're definitely not going to get enough magnesium or probably potassium. You're not going to get the fiber and the prebiotics, right? How important is that? Well, fiber is how you keep your intestines clean, number one. Fiber is how our bacteria, the microscopic bacteria in our colon, produce short-chain fatty acids, which are essential for health. Fiber absorbs toxins that you may have gotten in food that you inadvertently had eaten. So it's very important. And if you're just eating animals, you're not getting prebiotics. You're not getting the stuff so your gut biome is going to go, and that's going to affect your liver. That's right. In addition to your pancreas, everything else, right? Okay. And you're not going to be getting polyphenols, flavonoids, carotenoids. No vitamin K. What? You won't be getting the phytosterols, and the isothiocyanates you won't be getting these things that are necessary for what? For DNA repair, for detoxification. This is how your body maintains immune enhancement. It keeps your healthy gut biome. All these things are necessary for not just like surviving, but being able to repair and heal and have vitality and all that. Yeah. And by the way, no human culture has ever survived. Not even the Inuits, not the and the plains in none of them. They all ate the intestines of the caribou. They killed the caribou. The Inuits, they drink the blood. Yeah, and they even got the plants here and there. They just never, but they made sure they got. Uh, uh, there's just look it up. Look up their dietary history, and you'll see that's what they did. All right, so just keep that in mind. All right, so no one did. So going on what we're calling a carnivore diet is what is being referred to nowadays as a carnivore diet is eating the muscles of a corpse, some animal corpse, whatever it is. Might as well be human. If you're going to eat corpses and you want to get like the closest to your nutrient needs, make sure you got a grass-fed human. All right, if you have a grass-fed human, or at least a plant-fed human, doesn't have to be just grass because it's not a cow. So yeah, let's give him a plant-fed human. So why? Because you want it to be high quality. Oh my God, did I just think that? Oh my God, what a thing! I'm gonna slap my brain. I'm gonna slap my brain for thinking that, but I can't help it. So to get a really good piece of meat, human meat, I need to have that. I need to have this human fed on plants. Yeah. Don't tell anyone. Let's keep it between us. This is like, it's sacrilegious. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm going to be struck down. I know it today. Okay. Anyway, now, uh, uh, I can't. You guys, I look at your stuff and I see that you're over on other stuff, so you don't care what I'm talking about. So I'll stop talking about it. Unbelievable. Yeah. Okay. So let's forget about this. Anyway, I don't recommend eating the animal muscles. I mean, for any reason, unless you just like to chew, but you might as well chew on a bone. It's anyway, that's not going to do it. What's going to do it? Guess what makes the liver better? Alpha lipoic acid, which doesn't come from animals. N-acetylcysteine, alpha lipoic acid, N-acetylcysteine, right? And okay, so wait a minute. N-acetylcysteine, and what do you call it? Excuse me. Okay, N-acetylcysteine, alpha lipoic acid, a vitamin B complex, especially you got to have B1, and silymarin, which comes from it's a plant, and you get silybinum from it, and silymarin, and it comes from milk thistle plant. You get all these things that will make your liver heal. It helps the liver healing. You all get it from plants. So take those. You got to find out what's going on with her. But don't see you're afraid because your mother died. Your mother most likely did not die from the ovarian CFC. She died from the treatment they gave her. Yes, without knowing. Wait a second. Okay, these are crazy. Okay. Wait. All right. Anyway, let's go back to here. Go back to where we were. Okay. All right. So anyway, Kathy, you should tell Hammy. All right. I can't do anything. I'm not, okay, whatever. All right. So where are we going here? Let's go back to those questions. Where the heck are those questions? God, why is it so hard to find? Oh, here's the guy. I'm looking right now. Ooh, there's the guy saying, I'm eating meat. Okay. That's all I can eat. Oh, where the heck? Okay, there we are. My God, that makes it easier. All right, now. Okay, so anyway, remember that. Nose to tail, you guys. If you're going to do it, do it. Come on. Don't do it halfway. Come on, you know that. You're going to do something. Do it. Just go for it. I'm a carnivore. Give me that nose. And then the brain. Where's that brain? Come on. And intestines. And don't forget, at the very end of the intestines, you get the donut. It's called a rectum. Yeah, you get that too. Don't forget the rectum, ovaries, testes, thyroid gland. Eat that thyroid pancreas. You got to eat it all. Come on. Be a carnivore. That's my meat, man. I want my meat. I love the way these people talk. It's my meat. It ain't your meat. It's his meat, her meat. And you just killed her and ripped it off her body. It's her meat. Don't call it your meat. Oh, you're going to eat it. It'll be incorporated into your body. Then it's your meat. Okay. Anyway, we'll leave that alone now. I think you kind of get the point. And if you don't, you weren't listening. You were busy doing. I urge you to the Everwell Clinic. Who's the Everwell Clinic? And replying to Zachary, I urge you to join the Everwell Herbal Clinic. Okay. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Everwell Clinic. Replying to April Cameron, here's June again. I recommend you to visit the Everwell Clinic. Okay. June, do you have any relationship with the Everwell Clinic? Do you, June? You seem to be highly promoting it now. I eat grass-fed hamburger with lots of fresh garlic and fried onions. You eat a grass-fed hamburger? I have been, I don't know, 88 countries, more 98 countries. I've been in a lot of countries. And I always go to the, out into the countryside. And I've never seen a hamburger walk around. I looked, I saw cows, bulls, I saw deer, I saw pigs, but I never saw a hamburger. What do they look like? So there was a grass-fed hamburgers. You eat grass? No. What is a hamburger? You kill the cow, right? Usually an air gun to the head, so it goes unconscious. Unfortunately, those are really hard, and they find actually pieces of brain and stuff in the hamburger meat. But anyway, so you kill the you render the animal unconscious. That is, unless it's kosher or it's halal. Kosher and halal does not allow that. They want the animal to be conscious while it is being murdered. But the other non-halal, non-kosher allow the animal to be unconscious while it's being murdered. So after they've murdered it and they've taken out the innards, and they cut it up and they ground up the muscle, and And the muscle's got, it's got some brain and other stuff. And then you make a hamburger. That's what a hamburger is. Just clarifying our words here so we know what we're talking about. Because if we're going to communicate, we have to have the same vocabulary. And to have the same vocabulary, we have to agree on what it means. What does dog mean? We know the dog. Okay, we have to agree on that. But what does meat mean? Well, meat in English actually means the essence, right? What is the meat of the subject? What am I asking for? I'm asking for the essence of the subject. I eat the meat of the coconut. Okay, so do you consider the decayed muscles of a deceased, of a corpse, the essence? I don't, so I can't call it meat. I'd have to call it corpse muscle. I'm just saying, you know. I know a lot of people out there hate me, you know, because you know why? Because I want to eat my, I want my, I mean mine, Anyway, you probably all don't know that song, right? Okay, let's get back to where we were. What was the next question? So, Burley, let me just leave it with you. Don't worry. Not knowing is extremely difficult. Knowing is more. So don't know. Just say, look, we're going to live a healthy life and be healthy, and just don't worry about it. You know, if you want to find out if she's feeling okay, and they've tried to look for a reason for her to have elevated transaminases, you know, the liver enzymes, then okay. Can't find a reason. All right, whatever. Eat healthy. Do a thorough cleanse. Do a juice cleanse. 3 week, 4 week, 8 week, whatever it is, juice cleanse. You do it together with her. No food, just eat fantastic vegetable juices with some fruit to make it delicious. Yeah, do that. Colon hydrotherapy. Go to sleep early. Just do everything that you need to do to be healthy. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to be healthy. And take the alpha lipoic acid, which you can get at any any place that you can get supplements of vitamins. Alpha lipoic acid, 300 milligrams 3 times a day. Vitamin B complex with B1, one twice a day. The B100s, okay. It's called 100 because there's 100 milligrams of everything, but the B1 is the main one you want. Thiamine. You want NAC, N-acetylcysteine, the 500 milligrams 3 times a day. Take silymarin or silybinum or milk thistle, again, 500 milligrams 3 times a day. And what else did we say? Selenium, you need selenium. Get at least 400 micrograms a day, but you can eat 4 Brazil nuts and you'll get that. And I know I'm forgetting one. Oh, well. Anyway. And don't stop. Get off that train. You're on the death train. Get off it. Jump onto the train going to paradise. We're all on that train. We're going to paradise, and that paradise is called health. And where there is health, there is absolute joy and brotherhood, sisterhood, humanhood. Yeah, motherhood, babyhood, all kinds of hoods. Now, here's from Naz. Okay, so Naz says, how much and how should we use ivermectin to prevent using that word, Naz? Naz, you can't use the word and be healthy. CFCs. Should we avoid meat and meat products altogether to prevent CFCs? Or green juice is good enough daily? Naz, you must be new to all of this. So, Naz, let's do this. There's got a lot to catch up on. Okay, so that's good. I'm so glad you're here. You finally made it. That's great. So if we want to prevent developing any kind of a condition that, okay, health, optimal functioning of the organism means that all of the organism's biological needs and psychological needs are being satisfied, and it can optimally function because that's how it was designed. If any of those needs are not being satisfied, either through too much of one thing or too much of something it didn't need at all, or not enough of things it needs, if any of those things are happening, then the organism, in order to survive, has to adapt. And that adaptation is what they call diseases. Okay, so, but they're not diseases, they're adaptations too. Okay, now, so therefore, if you want to avoid having to go through an adaptation, make sure you're providing your body with all the biological and psychological needs it needs. It requires, and then you're done. Okay, so ivermectin is very helpful, but so is fenbendazole, and I would never. So as part of your cleansing and all that, you'd probably want to do a parasite cleanse. You'd probably want to get rid of the parasites that we all have, and you'd probably do a combination of the ivermectin, fenbendazole, niclosamide, nitazoxanide. You probably do a combination of all those, right? And maybe an anti-fungal as well. You do that for 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off. You'd be taking those same liver supplements that we talked about with Burley, right? Right? You'd be doing that because you want to keep your liver protected. Why? Because these anti-parasitics are all cleared by the liver, and when it's trying to clear all of them at once, you get elevation of liver enzymes like we were talking about before. So, but anyway, it's okay. They'll go up and down, up and down. That's why you do 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off. Okay, that's what you do. You got to go to a biological dentist, and you got to find out what's going on in your head 3-dimensionally with a cone beam, 3D cone beam CT of your jaw, of your mouth there. And they'll be able to see your airway. They'll be able to see the position of your tongue. They'll be able to see, which is all of that's very important. They'll be able to see any cavitations, which are little caves up in your bones, above your teeth or below your teeth, above. They'll be able to see root canal. They'll be able to see any metal implants, whatever, and then they'll be able to know what to address to clean it out. Because if you don't clean that out, you cannot be healthy. Cannot be healthy because the mouth, contrary to popular opinion, has never left the body. Yep, it's still in the body, and that we have 2 professions. We have dentistry, medicine, and then we have podiatry, right? Because the feet aren't, the feet and the mouth, another mistake God made. Gave us feet in the mouth, kept them in one place. Didn't cook the tomatoes. My God. What were you doing? God, how could you do that? How could God do that? He didn't cook the food. I don't know. I wonder about God sometimes. Like all these things that God didn't do that we needed. I mean, after all, we needed this, right? We needed all this electronic equipment. Anyway. He did his best. Okay, he did his best. So Naz, one of the big things I want to talk to you about is that people don't usually even consider is going to sleep early. And why would you go to sleep early? I mean, everybody should be worried about this, not worried, concerned, or willing to listen to why you should go to sleep early, okay? Because when we talk about sleep, we talk about the number of hours. We're always talking about the number of hours you get, all right? Okay, you can get the number of hours. You can get 8 hours between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. That's 8 hours, but you didn't get what you needed. Okay, so now in acute sleep deprivation, like you normally sleep, go to sleep early, but let's say something happens, some kind of urgent thing, or traveling or whatever. And you don't sleep for one day, and then the next day you, like me, and then the next day you sleep just a couple hours, and you have an acute period of sleep deprivation. Okay, well, do you know that the number of those acute periods of acute sleep deprivation correlate with neurodegenerative conditions. Neurodegenerative conditions like what? Like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, what they call amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, multiple sclerosis. And there's more. We'll come up with more. Alzheimer's. Oh my God. Yeah. So, what with acute? Now, chronic. We won't even go there. Okay. So we're talking about sleep deprivation. We're not just talking about the number of hours. We're talking about the timing. And why the timing? Because we are, oh my God. I keep getting into this controversies. It never was a controversy. I mean, it might have been a controversy back in 1300. I thought anyway. All right. I'm sorry. Please close your ears if you don't like to hear these sort of things. I'm about to say something horrible. That is, okay, so we live on a planet that is revolving on it's rotating on its axis. And it makes one complete rotation every 23 hours and 56 minutes. And it's tilted a little bit. Yeah. And then it's got a relationship to this big fireball in the sky, sun, which, by the way, is bad for you. You got to wear sunscreen. Why you got to wear sunscreen? Why? Because the source of all biological life in the solar system is bad for you. You understand the things we believe, right? The things we grew up with. So instead of being exposed to the sunlight, which I get vitamin D and I get, each cell produces melatonin, blah, blah, blah. Instead of doing that and the warmth and all that, I'm going to wear sun guard. And what is that sun guard? It's poisons. We're going to put poison on your skin to prevent you from getting the benefits of the sun. They don't quite say it like that. They say quite the opposite. They say, you're going to die from that sun. The sun's going to kill you. So anyway, I know I segue all over the place, but, I got one of those bicycles that doesn't go straight. Anyway, so I forgot where I was, but anyway, you go to sleep early. And the reason, circadian. Okay. So our circadian rhythm is our relationship with this 24-hour, almost 24-hour cycle, 23 hours, 56 minutes, almost. All right. That's our relationship with the sun and the earth. Our relationship with the sun and earth. Oh my God. Is he talking about astrology? No, yes. Yes, no. No, yes, no. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm also talking about, we're going to tell you about Jupiter or Mercury. I'm not going to tell you that Mercury's in retrograde sometime. Nah, anyway, we're just talking about our circadian rhythm. And why is that important? Because every cell in our body has a circadian process going on. Okay. And it functions differently. Okay. So every cell. All right. Now, for the brain, particularly when we talk about the brain, like, what happens in these 24 hours, like even the fact that our genes, not the ones you wear, the like the chromosome type stuff. I just want to make sure we're not talking about those genes. Okay. So we're talking about chromosomes and stuff like that. Anyway, gene transcription, cell signaling, physiology, and all sorts of behaviors are on a 24-hour circadian rhythm. That's right. Now, so therefore, we are what they call diurnal creatures, and then there are nocturnal creatures. Nocturnal creatures are alive and they eat and make babies during the day and during the night, and then they sleep during the day. Diurnal creatures like us, we eat and make babies during the day and we sleep at night. Okay, night is what? When the sun goes down. Did you hear what when the sun goes down? Definition. That's night. Not all naturopaths are carnivore, are pro-carnivore diets. Yay! I'm glad to hear that. I know that. No, my point was this. That the person must have been talking to a naturopath because nobody else. No, I've never heard of a medical doctor offering any kind of diet other than go see the dietitian or eat a well-balanced meal, or they don't even think about it. I wasn't saying that naturopaths are carnivores, because not all naturopaths are carnivores, fortunately. So you all need to hear that, right? So not all of them are. And your best chance, if you're not well, your best chance of getting well is to avoid the sorcerers, the M-deity freaks, and go to a naturopath. But you got to make sure that naturopath, they're not all naturopaths are the same, I'm telling you. I knew a guy that was brilliant way back when I first met him many years ago. And now he wound up being an allopathic. What do they call that? What do they call that when you have an alcoholic and you have the person that's helping them? It's called a. Please remove the. What? What do they call that when you have a. What banner? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, banner. How do I remove that? Oh, there we go. Okay, I didn't even know it was up. Thank you. Anyway, where are we now? Okay. How weird. All right. So anyway, this poor guy, he was really, really good, and now he's like a. What do they call that when they when people are. I forget what it's called, but it's the word. Anyway, he works for allopaths now, basically. So yeah, but and I'll tell you something. If I didn't even know that naturopaths exist, had I known, I would not have gone to medical school. Can you imagine? I would have gone to naturopathic school. So I didn't know. And what's weird is I was reading Herbert M. Shelton all those years since I was 14, and he was a naturopath, but I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I never heard the word. I had NMD, and I didn't even. Anyway, I didn't think about it. Had I known, yeah. Oh, June. Okay, June, you're gonna tell Yolata Hossein. I recommend you visit the Everwell Herbal Clinic. June. And April, you're so kind, and you recommend that she visit it. June, can I ask you? Don't you think that everybody in the United States should visit the Everwell Herbal Clinic? I mean everybody. Okay. Yay, June. Let's do that. Everyone tonight. Do it. Get over to the Herbal Well, the whatever clinic right away. Okay. And just tell them June sent you. You guys are great. You guys are great. Anyway, Herbert M. Shelton. That's right. Herbert M. Shelton. He is. Here's one of his books, The Hygienic Care of Children. Incredible. Incredible. Save your baby. What else? Herbert M. Shelton. Health for the Millions is going to be like your. It's almost like your the Bible of health. Okay, and then the Science and Fine Art of Fasting. I mean, he's prolific, but he's number one mentor that I had from the age of 14. What else did he write? I mean, all these books I have. He's written so many books, but anyway, whatever. So it's cold now. Can you imagine cold? Okay, so going to sleep early. Okay, so there's a couple other things that are about going to sleep early that most people are not even aware of, and that is, our brain does not have a lymphatic system like when you think of all organs, they have a specific lymphatic drainage. So the brain doesn't. It doesn't have a lymphatic drainage. Okay, so what happens? So it's actually called the glymphatic system for the brain. Okay, and the way it works is that there is like a network of these around the blood vessel tunnels that are wrapped in the brain. It's called perivascular. Okay, and it's by these astrocytes, which are basically like macrophages in the brain, which are white blood cells. Anyway, they're kind of there, and so there's kind of so it's based upon the arterial pulsation, and when your heart rate goes down, it's better distributed. So your heart rate goes down when you're sleeping, except when you're having a dream. But so why? Therefore, it works best in slow wave sleep, and slow wave sleep doesn't occur after 9:30, 10, 11. It doesn't occur. Don't look at me. I didn't do it. It's God again. God did that. It's one of those other things he did. Yeah, didn't cook the tomatoes and wanted us to go to sleep early. Anyway, so they're during that slow wave, the slow waves of your brain waves. You know, you have beta waves, theta waves, delta. During delta is when that circulation is happening, and it's cleaning out what? Neurotoxins. It's cleaning out toxins from your brain and gets rid of them. So if you don't go to sleep before 9:30, if you don't 9 o'clock, you won't clean them out. And guess what you're gonna find yourself in the middle of? Oh my God, yes. All those neurodegenerative situations. Okay, so now, the spinal fluid, right? We're talking about the spinal fluid in there. It circulates, right? The spinal fluid, which is made in the ventricles, and inside of the ventricles of the brain. The brain has these chambers called ventricles, which are aligned. They have a choroid plexus that produces this cerebral spinal fluid, which circulates all the way around. Okay, guess what? That is on a circadian rhythm too. That's right. Can you believe it? At around that time of night, when you're in slow wave, you're producing more cerebral spinal fluid. You know what else is happening at that time? It's incredible. It's incredible. And won't happen other times. And that is our immune system is being enhanced. It's based on, it has a circadian rhythm too. Okay. So, so what happens is, the ability for the cells to phagocytize, that means eat up, bacteria and other stuff that wants to eat up, to produce cytokines, that important signaling to other parts of the body and to other white blood cells for its ability to migrate towards areas that need it. All those things are enhanced before that time. It's kind of that. And then on top of it, melatonin will do all that as well. So you got to go sleep early. So that's it. Now, the other one is movement. And I just want you to realize something about movement, very, very important about movement, is that if it weren't important, now, plants don't have to worry about this. Okay, plants don't have to worry about this. They got it covered. Okay, we don't. That's why we've got these arms and legs. Yeah, I know it was, actually, I'm sure they're going to come up with something extremely convenient where you don't have to use your arms and legs either. You can just sit around. But who wants to be a torso? I don't want to just be a torso. If you were just a torso, you would give anything you could just to get up and empty the trash, to walk anywhere. You would do that, right? Okay. We don't want to be torsos, so we want to move. We should be moving all day long, because if we lived in a natural world like 7,000 years ago, where there were no machines and all that nonsense, we would be getting up in the morning, because we would have gone to bed early, because there's nothing else to do, right? After the sun sets, and then you go to bed early. We'd wake up, and then we'd be moving all day long to do what we need to do. We'd be lifting and bending and that, and we would not need to go to the gym. We don't need to go to the gym, because our life is moving. Okay. Now, we don't realize it, but one of up there in the top causes of death in elderly people is frailty. Not being able to move. Now, there is a good test that you can all do. I hope you're all listening very well, because there's a good test you can all do. If you want to find out how fit you are, how physically fit you are, there's one test, and it's more important than any blood test, any imaging test, anything. This is the most important test that you can do at home with nobody, and you don't need a professional at all. You just need to be alone, and you need about, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet diameter on the floor. Make sure it's carpeted and all that, so it's soft. Sit down on the floor, and then stand up without using your hands, elbows, knees, or furniture. If you can do that, you're in good shape. You're okay. There's a few other ones too, things like that. But anyway, if you can't, then what you want to do is you say, okay, so if you have to use your knees, which I have to do, I have to use my knees. I don't have to use my hands, but I have to use my knees. So I need to keep doing it so that until I don't have to use my knees. And right. So you can stand up from sitting down without using hands, knees, elbows, or anything around you, furniture. It's a test. Anyway. But anyway, so that's the kind of thing we want to be working on. So the answer, Naz, is this. You're going to clean out everything you can, and then you're going to put in everything that you want to eat that is healthy for humans. And by the way, it happens to be plants, whether you like that or not. It doesn't really matter if we like it or not. It just happens to be true. Okay, so now, movement, immunity, going to sleep, frailty. Remember that. Going to sleep early. Okay, eating human food. Stop eating 5 hours before bed. Eat only in a short window, so you have a long period of not eating. Drink lots and lots of fluids, water, water, all day long. And stop lying if you can. It's hard to stop lying, I know that, but we have to try to stop lying, because we do. We're lying. We lie all the time. We learn to lie. You have to lie if you want to get around. You can't tell your boss what you think of them. You can't. You can't tell your boss what you think. You can't tell everybody. You can't speak the truth. You got to say, right? If everyone spoke the truth, my God, we would have actually, because here's the thing. I guess they call it manners and all that sort of thing. But isn't it weird? Why would I have to be what, in your position, it is expected. You're a child, it is expected. You're a mother, it is expected. You're a CEO, it is expected. You are a plumber, it is expected. In other words, your behavior is already proscribed, right? Because of all that stuff and all that stuff. So we look at each other and he should, she should, they shouldn't. Judgment. Okay, judge not lest you be judged by that which ye judge. I don't know where I heard that. Where did I hear that from? One of those books, Anyway, let's get back to our questions. So you got the point, Naz? Good. Meta has melasma, skin condition. Does he know the underlying cause? Used everything under the sun. Will it ever go away? Okay, melasma, for those of you who might not be familiar with the term, is a hyperpigmentation of the skin. Women get it usually around pregnancy because they have a increase in their melanin output. Melanin is the substance produced by melanocytes, which are cells in our skin that produce pigment, right? So the different pigments of people that have different pigments, it means this is different amounts of melanin that they're producing. Melanin has a biological function. It protects you from certain aspects of the electromagnetic spectrum, which could be damaging, and that's why it's not. And that's why you don't need sunscreen, because God gave you sunscreen. Unless you're an albino, then you've got to stay out of the sun. Or maybe, short period. But it doesn't mean you can be in the shade. You can be in the shade and be out in the sunlight. You need that. you still need your exposure to all that. Because remember, all the circadian rhythm that we're talking about comes through the eyes and through the optic nerve to the suprachiasmatic nucleus, right? Then from there, it gets distributed everywhere. Okay, so every cell is dependent on this 24-hour system. Okay, so now, so melasma is, it's called, there's, the mask of pregnancy is what happens to women, but you can get it for other reasons too. The sun is a big factor in it, of course. So anyway, so if you get that, and sometimes it goes away in a short period of time, sometimes a couple of years, and sometimes it never goes away. All right. So if you go to a dermatologist, they've got treatment. They use hydroxyquinone, right? They use trenatoin, which is can be toxic and mild steroid. So they combine them. Actually, they use the hydroquinone with the trenatoin and a steroid in one, and like that. So, but the other thing they do is they can do these. I don't forget the term of it, but it's like they have this micro needling where they can use laser and light, and I've seen very good, amazing results from the laser. Of course, it was in Japan, and the quality of everything in Japan is way up there. I mean, everything. I mean, they empty the trash better than we do. They go to the toilet better than we. Everything they do is like, what? Why didn't we think of that? Yeah. So anyway, the average dermatologist in Japan will do a really good job. So anyway, but lasering is the best I've seen happening, right? Another thing they use is called PRP, platelet-rich plasma. So drawing your blood, spin it out, and then at the top they get the platelet-rich plasma, and they can inject that into your skin too, and it helps with everything. And I need some too. It really helps with everything. So, but that's about it. I know that there are over-the-counter things you can buy, that ointments and stuff. I don't know if they work or not. I don't think so. There's a belief that vitamin C taken topically is going to do that. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. Okay, so anyway, we won't know if it'll ever go away, Maida. So go find a good dermatologist. Okay, so now this is D, UK. What time is it? Are we okay still? Yeah, good. We're doing really good today. Okay, so topic is breast CFCs. All right. Was so happy you read my question. I am under a good functional oncologist nutritionist via Zoom. Oh, wow. Can you do that, Zoom? Yeah, I guess you can. I used to. Checked out doxycycline. Yes, have asked regarding should I add to my regimen. Well, if you have breast CFCs and you have bone metastasis, yes. If you have breast CFCs and you don't have bone metastasis, it's a good prophylactic measure for that. And it just so happens to kill the CFC stem cells as well. So that's really important. And and you'll be doing a lot of vitamin C, right? You'll be getting the liposomal. Here's what I get from Ippon, Japan. Yeah. I'm not a Japanophile. I just love Japan. Wait a minute. Is that the same thing? Okay. So here, yeah, liposomal. Watch. Show you how easy it is. Watch. Done. Could it be easier? No. I guess it could. It could be more convenient if I was just sitting in a chair and I didn't do anything all day and vitamin C was pushed through my skin or something. Anyway, but other than that, this is the best. And take 2 grams 4 times a day. 2 grams 4 times a day. That means 2 of those packets 4 times a day. Or you get whatever. You'll be doing that. You'll be overdosing on vitamin D, overdosing on vitamin D with K2, vitamin D with K2. You're going to be doing melatonin, and you're going to be getting your iodine, lots of melatonin, iodine, thyroid, adrenals. You got to get those because they are the bosses of the immune system. And they work best when they're coordinated and you're going to sleep early. Whoa, then your thymus is going away no matter what you do. So you got to get some thymosin alpha 1. Thymosin alpha 1 because you want T cells. You kind of want T cells. All right. This is the stuff you need to be doing. Okay. All right. So now the doxycycline and vitamin C together are amazing at eliminating CFC stem cells. And so is ivermectin. And so is mebendazole. So is fenbendazole. So is niclosamide. And so is nitazoxanide. Yeah. Side benefits. Okay. So now, I'd love to join the CFC group, but I'm a pensioner. The other group, the health and healing, at least, it's not as extensive by any means, but it still gives you some access to be ongoing and learning and stuff. So might be a good idea. But the CFC, we a lot more. It's just, but it's the way it is. But anyway, it will give you some connection. Neurologist said it's okay. But one more question. Before their diagnoses, I still have getting worse, a numbness down my right leg all the way to little toes and right foot. Neurologist said it's compression spine due to adenocarcinoma, but cannot see where on MRI. This is the only thing that seems to be stopping me feeling 100%. Nothing had any response, no supplements. My mind is good. I meditate often, but those immune cells of mine just hanging on. I wish I could have moved over there, but 3 little doggies age 14 rely on my love and care. Oh, you mean overwhere too? Thailand? Well, if your doggies are 14, unfortunately, dogs don't live. By the way, you guys, the carnivore diet, the carnivores in nature live only 15 years. Okay. Yeah, it's true. Look it up. Okay, it's true. Look it up. Okay. They live 15 years. The non-carnivores, like elephants, it's 60 to 90 years. All the other like horses and like that, 40s, 50s, 30s, 30, 40. We're talking about deer, horses, not 15. Anyway, I just got to recreate this health journey. All right, good, fantastic, D. Okay, so numbness down your leg sounds like the sciatic nerve, which goes from like L4 to S3. What are you talking about? Okay, so we have a spine. The spine has cervical. That means we have vertebra. The vertebra are the bones of our spine that protect the spinal cord. Okay, because just protect it. Okay, and then nerves, and then along the spinal cord, the nerves come out and they branch to all over, and we do all this sort of stuff. So the ones in our neck, we have 8 there, right? Which goes from the head to where the chest begins. So those are called cervical vertebra. And then all the ones that are in our chest are called thoracic vertebrae. So listen, thoracic, because the chest is called the thorax. And where does that thorax go? It goes down into the end of the ribs. When the ribs stop coming off that, then we're no longer in the thorax. We're now in the lumbar. That's all. and then there are lumbar, and then the lumbar, and where when you get to the hips, and then those are called sacral. So you have cervical, thoracic, lumbar, and sacral are just the same things. They're vertebrae, they're bones protecting the nerves, but in different areas. Okay, so this sciatica is lumbar 4 up to about like S3. Okay, which is called the sacral plexus, right? So that's what's happening. So I kind of agree with, even though the MRI, I guess the MRI didn't show that. That's odd, very odd, especially if you have that kind of, symptom from it. But if it goes all the way down to your right, to the baby toes, that's kind of the distribution of that nerve. So anyway, and I don't know if you had chemo or anything, but if you did, excuse me, you might have some peripheral neuropathy, but you would have mentioned it. You didn't mention anything about numbness or tingling and all that. You just mentioned about this one particular sciatic nerve distribution. Yeah. And so that, but if you did have peripheral neuropathy of any kind, then taking alpha lipoic acid is very helpful, and acetyl L-carnitine. Those two together are very, very good for these neuropathic pain. Neuro is nerve. Pathic means something like it's part of the disease thing. Neuropathic. Just neuropathic means that the pain is coming from the nerve. It's easy kidding. I don't like the word pathic. There's nothing pathic except the pathetic pathologist, but other than that, there's nothing pathic. Everything's adaptive physiology. There's no pathology. There's adaptive physiology, period. Now, but in addition to taking the ALA, alpha lipoic acid, and taking the acetyl L-carnitine, the B1, very, very important, right? B1 and B12, B6. B1, B12, B6 are really, really important for, so just take a B complex, okay? Omega-3s are very important. Flax seeds, chia seeds. Have the chia seed porridge. Get lots of that, right? Gets a lot, and walnuts, flaxseed, chia seeds, all that. Curcumin, excellent. Vitamin D. Did you know vitamin D actually has an analgesic property to it? That means it decreases pain. Yes, amazing. Right, and the curcumin is anti-inflammatory. It helps. It's very helpful with the nerve, because the nerves, if you've got a peripheral neuropathy, if you've got pain and tingling or anything like that, it's because it's inflamed. All right, good. And guess what? That old terrible glutamine. Right, we got to avoid. I got to get rid of glutamine and glucose, and I'm dead. But I'm going to get rid of it. I'm dead. But so glutamine, in addition to being the primary fuel for the cells that line our intestines that allow us to absorb, and in addition to being the primary fuel source for our lymphocytes, and in addition to being a non-essential amino acid, means we produce it whether we don't eat it. We don't need to eat it. We produce it. So we have tons of it. It's the most abundant amino acid in our body. And guess what else it does? That's right. Feeds nerves. Restores nerves. So you have a peripheral neuropathy, glutamine's going to help. Yep. So do all those things. But your situation sounds like definitely a sciatic problem. So what I would do is go to a structural integrationist. Okay, it's called structural integration. Look it up. And myofascial release and cranial sacral. If you can find a group that does cranial sacral work, myofascial release, and structural integration, which is really, they're all like really much. You got to find someone who's really good. Make sure they've been doing it a while. Talk to them. Make sure, a lot of times they were former physical therapists and a chiropractor. You add those all together. Those are the people that are going to help you, since it's not seen on MRI, which is odd. Plus, you don't want to go to the orthopedic anyway, because the medical doctor, which is the mythology doctor, will go in there and like cut up cut things up, and then they're gonna start cutting you open. No, let's get you restructured. Okay, so good structure integration, myofascial release, cranial sacral, and chiropractics. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, and then you'll get better, you get healthier, and start doing yoga in the way you can, whatever you can and cannot do, the best you can do, and go to sleep early, and do all these things, and you're gonna see. Okay, I still have time. I got time. What a day. Now, let's see. Oh, in the article regarding language of scare, yes, absolutely. Okay, this is HS. I won't say your last name, but HS, yes. Topic is other. I've been trying to get a hold of you, but struggling. I have solitary fibrous tumors active in my lungs and around spine, and working its way down my lower spine and pelvic floor and pelvic region. How do I specifically stop the SFT fusion of NAB2 and STAT6 antisense oligonucleotides targets? STAT6-3 untranslated region to reduce NAB2. Okay. Inhibiting EGR1 and IGF2 may be viable. Who can stop this? I've seen one of your videos and noted that this is protocol ivermectin, praziquantel, or niclosamide 3 times a day, fenbendazole, tinidazole. If not, what will? Okay. Oh, excuse me. So your name is Hardip Singh. Okay. Namaste. Namaskar. Singh. Maybe no. Singh, that means you're Sikh, right? Anyway, do Sikh say Namaskar, Namaste, or is that just the Hindu side? I don't think I've ever seen a Sikh when I was in India doing it. Anyway, okay, so all those things you were just talking about, right? All of these pathways and all that, you're never going to figure that out. They didn't figure it out. They just named it. They don't know what's that. I mean, anything that's going to work needs to do that. Okay, so you can't find something specific. Everything that is leading towards health and resolution is that. So if you've got a situation going on, and now they've got you looking at the larva of a parasite that is on the wing of a fly on one of the trees in the forest. Yeah, you're way distracted down there. Okay. And if you got up and say, wait, I'm in the forest. Okay, I get it. So you can't see the forest for the larva. Anyway, so here's the story. All these things that, the name of that, I just saw someone. The name of that is called Lipoc. Lipoc. Lypoc. Yeah, from Japan. And then it's just like this. I like taking it, so I'm going to show you one more time. Wow, that was easy. So it tastes salty, But my doctor said I shouldn't have salt. Yeah, your doctor shouldn't talk. That's when you know there's a problem. That's when you know the doctor's not telling the truth. As soon as their mouth opens. Now, okay, what I'm trying to tell you, Hardip Singh, is that you're lost in what they have identified is what's going on in everyone of anyone who's having CFCs anywhere. There's all these different pathways, and it's not like I can stop the path. You can. anything that's happening, any biochemical pathways that are happening in anybody, in any cell, they're happening because they are required at that moment for the cell to stay alive. That's what cells do. They do what is necessary. There's nothing else they're doing. So what your job, my job, our job is to make those things that are not in our best interest not necessary by changing by the way we live and stuff like that. Because we're never going to figure out and you can't go in and stop a process that must happen or the cell dies. Can you imagine that? If this is doing this to well, yeah, I want to kill the CFC. Yeah, you do. But you have to understand something. Why that's happening is if you got rid of all of them, there's going to be more happening because whatever is causing them has caused that. And whatever caused them is still going. You're going to have more. You have to understand that. If you don't pull the plug, it's going to keep happening. If you don't stop producing these things, then it doesn't matter how good you are at getting rid of them. Very, very simple concept. You've got HS, you've got to go Hardip Singh, you've got to go to a biological dentist, a real one. You've got to find one. You've got to take care of that. All right. You've got to do a thorough 3, 6, 8 week juice cleanse. Got to do that where you don't eat. Got to get colon hydrotherapy. You've got to find a certified lymphatic therapist if you can. But you're going to be moving all day. You're going to be doing things. And by the way, can you stand up without using your elbows, your knees, your hands, and furniture or anything like that from sitting on the floor? That's my goal now. I want to learn to do. I want to get to that point of doing that. Anyway, so instead of looking at how you're going to inhibit this, look at restoring health. And yes, the praziquantel, the ivermectin, the nicosamide, fenbendazole, or any of the benzimidazoles, yes, tinidazole, or nitazoxanide. Those are part of restoring health because it's getting rid of, eliminating things that we don't need that are blocking our ability to heal. Yes, it's part of it. And they have a nice little side benefit of modifying certain pathways like we were just talking about that contribute to this whole problem of CFCs. Yes. So those things are good, but don't get into those things that you're lost. And that when the more now you are in their world and you can never make it. Their world ends at the morgue. Get out of their world. Get out of their world. Their world ends at the morgue. You understand? Okay, get out of their world. Stop using their words. They end at the morgue. Forget the SFT fusion, the NAP2. Forget all that stuff. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. They tell you all that stuff. Now, can they help you? No. What is it? It's some sort of logoria. You familiar with that term? Logoria. It's similar to like a hyper loquacity. You know loquacity. You know logoria. Yeah. Logo means word. Ria is like got diarrhea. Logoria. Loquacity, same thing. Loquacious. And there are other words to describe that kind of thing, but they're saying these words that mean nothing. When I say they mean nothing, they have some meaning in their little inner world, but they have no meaning in terms of being alive and healthy and happy. Because why those are going on, nobody knows. They don't know. They're not there. I'm telling you why. They're going on because they have to. Why do they have to? Because we're not living in a way that's satisfying our biological and psychological needs. Period. Right? It's not hard. They make it confusing and all that stuff, just so you'll be confused and you'll say, you got to run to them and say, what's going on? And they're going to tell you, well, come over here. Pay me first. Okay. What's going on is, you'll never understand it. So just do what I say. Yeah. It's an extremely patriarchal extremely, extraordinarily evil. Yep. Yep. Okay, so yeah, you can take those things and all that, but you got to get well. You've listened to everything I've been saying, all the stuff. Do that and join the group. HS, join the CFC group. drlodi.com. Find the CFC group and join it so we can deal with specifically. I can talk to you and ask you questions. Here's Debbie. She's saying, can you give the full name and contact for who your acupuncturist, Dr. Yu, and which dentist? You're in Carlsbad. Okay, you're in San Diego. Okay, you beautiful. Okay, so you're gonna go see Dr. Emma Abramayan in Glendale, California. Not a long drive for you. Emma Abramayan, Glendale, California, and you can go to Dr. Emma DDS, Dr. Emma EMMA DDS at gmail.com, and you'll or look her up on the internet. Go, the best in the world. And you're right near her, so that's so fantastic. In terms of acupuncturist, Dr. Yu was not an acupuncturist; he was a acupuncture meridian. It was a way of assessing what's going on. He's in St. Louis, but you don't need go see Dr. Emma. And I'm not sure what else is going on with you, but dental. You don't need a Dr. Yu when you got a Dr. Emma. Dr. Yu found my stuff. But because I didn't need, but if you go see Dr. Emma, you've got it completely covered. You're great. I'm so glad I got to answer your question today. So Debbie, go right. It's nighttime for you. So tomorrow morning, get on there, call her office, send the emails, say I want to come as soon as possible, and you go. She's the one. She does it all. She's amazing, amazing. All right. Okay. Here's Dawn. I want to do a parasite cleanse, but no doctors talk to are supportive and think I'm crazy. Who can I get help with it? Join our group, the Parasite group. Go to drlodi.com and there's 3 groups: Health and Healing, Parasite, and CFC. Join the Parasite group, and we'll guide you through this. All right, great, fantastic. So we are done, you folks. Sawadee Kap, Kapu Makap. Namaste, namaskar, and aloha. I keep saying I'm going to do that aloha video because when you know what aloha means, you're going to go, wow. Is that what aloha means? Yeah. Aloha is deep. It's not just aloha. It's that too. It's everything. Anyway, aloha. And I'll see you folks next